We are in picks and bans for Game 2 of KOO Tigers versus Samsung Galaxy, and Annie is the first ban for Samsung Galaxy.
Yeah, not too big of a surprise. They did ban Annie in Game 1. Apparently, Wraith doesn't want to pick it up tonight, and that will be a Sivir actually banned on the red side by KOO. Been interesting.
And a reminder to you guys, go to ogn.azubu.tv and vote for your favorite super play of the week. The winner will receive money. Sweet, sweet money.
Sweet, sweet Korean won.
All the wands.
You get all those wands here in Korea. It's a nice feeling, you know. There's so many wands you can have. Like
there's also like 3 zeros at the end of, you know.
It's very easy to be a millionaire here.
It means you have $1,000, but you feel like a millionaire. I have $1 million won. So, Eve, then Callista, then Rise, and Alistar ban finally. With insta-pick Gragas.
Gonna take that for Eve. But what will the Rek'Sai is still available, so it's not actually that big of a problem for the KOO Tigers in this particular game. They are just going to take an early pick Corki, again doubling down on the emphasis on that champion.
And a flex pick in Nautilus. Smeb played a very, very good top Nautilus. We saw that amazing 2v1 noodle fight, which he had to break with the super minion.
That was a glorious time to be alive.
That was quite the time. The time of our lives, indeed. Oh, Crown teasing the Vel'Koz.
Yeah, I don't think you take top lane Nautilus when the Maokai is still up.
Yeah,
instead go for that, but you don't. Yeah, that.
But it is a flex.
Yes,
so.
It is, of course. And will the Victor come through again from KOO? It has been banned. We could see just the same matchup in the mid lane once more.
Well, Crown did play fairly well on that Azir, and you know, the Victor wasn't the main reason why Samsung Galaxy lost. And they're going to go with the Azir and Janna this time.
So looking for a bit more disengage for their backline. Is this a Kog'Maw game is my question. Could be a Vayne game too, depending on what Fury wants to play. But you start to see things like Gragas and Janna together, and then you start to think about Vayne and Kog'Maw. So
split them up, focus one down. Gragas obviously very strong with Vayne. We've seen this combination from Najin very many times.
So taking the Rumble, it looks like, and no need to pick the mid laner right now when you have that Rek'Sai nice and available for you.
Yep.
So that is most likely going to be the lock-in. The Rumble and the Rek'Sai going for that mid game again. KOO struggled a bit hitting that power spike in the last game. Can they do it just a little bit better in game number 2?
Well, KOO, at least they have an AD jungler this time, but they still look like they're on the verge of being very AP heavy once again. And what will Samsung Galaxy pick? Tristana is the hover. Twitch.
No.
Maokai, though.
It's almost certainly going to be Maokai and then a very heavy damage bottom lane carry. So Tristana could be another good selection.
Tristana has, I would rate her level 2 all-in as probably one of the better ones of the AD carries, but she does fall off in that level 2 to 6 area, level 3 to 6.
But when we look at her function within this team, the Gragas isolation going to be able to potentially get Fury a bunch of resets. And so it will be Tristana and the mid Varus. So that will solve their problems in terms of AP stacking. KOO back on the mid Varus. It's been a little bit.
All right. Well, whose composition do you like here better, Monte Cristo?
I really like the KOO Tigers composition. If they can hit, I mean, again, they're showing up with a massive mid-game power spike, even harder than last time because they don't have the Victor. But insane siege from KOO. They have good peel to fight. And again, Samsung, they're going to be forced to be reckoned with late if they don't fall behind too early. They have the better late game carries for sure and the big tank in the top side.
Yeah.
You know, talk about the Maokai, Azir, and Tristana scaling. It will just outstrip that of the KOO Tigers by a pretty significant margin.
Well, we're starting to see kind of a trend here where Samsung likes to go this kind of more engage, while the KOO Tigers will take the engage and maybe go for a counter punch instead. So maybe we're starting to see the identity of these two teams unfold a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, KOO and Jin Air have always been teams that have preferred to kite rather than engaging themselves. That was one of the big problems when Cinderhulk dropped, and we had to see engaged tank junglers kind of across the board. It did really come back to hurt those two teams, so they're in a little bit better of a comfort zone right now. But we're going to get into Game 2 now between the KOO Tigers and Samsung. Let's get in it.
한국에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
Fans still around?
Getting a bit late here,
9 p.m.
but that doesn't stop the determined. I'm sure we have lots of people in North America up very late tonight to see how this series turns out. We did have an exciting game last time around.
Shoutouts to all the NA fans. Thank you for watching.
Except for the Canadian ones. We
Yep.
talked about that earlier.
Well,
Thanks a lot for the War of 1812, too. That's right. Somebody reminded me of that on Twitter. You burned down the White House. What is wrong with you?
Oh, man.
I reserve the right to be salty against Canada on July 4th about
Alright.
the War of 1812
Well-
and the Revolutionary War.
You know, why wouldn't you be salty about, England? Why Canada?
What?
Is it because Canada's America's hat?
Because, yes, that and also Nickelback.
Also Nickelback. Oh, man. It's like you didn't have a childhood.
What does that have to do with Nickelback?
Hey, it's catchy songs, you just heard it on the radio all the time. It's a facet of, one's childhood if you were born, in the mid 80s, in the early 90s.
I think I'm too old for Nickelback. I think I'm
Maybe.
in terms of childhood years. I don't know.
I don't know.
I try to stay away from that.
I guess you didn't want to look at that photograph.
I definitely did not.
Well, Gorilla going in for
Uh-oh.
the harass.
This
We've
is what-
seen this before.
Why do you keep doing this? Stop weak side jungling on Krugs first.
Oh, he took one.
That's really annoying. Now they can't.
So much damage, too.
There's nothing they can do
Oh
either.
my
There's
Lord.
no response. He's now afraid that Azir's going to come, but he still sees Azir, so.
And he gets a parting shot.
The parting riptide right there.
And he's still chasing
Why
them.
would he not? Why would he stop now? Why would he stop now?
Oh,
Actually, Jana
man.
got some good harass down on that side.
Oh, is he going to take the small wolves, too?
Jana did get some harass down because
Okay.
actually the same thing happened on the other side of the map.
I feel like Nahlas does it better.
No,
though.
Donald's does it a million times better.
Yeah. I mean, he took one of the small golems, too, so that is a hefty amount of experience, as our observer is showing right now, for someone that wasn't in lane.
Yeah, nearly half a level. Now, Kuve still hits level 2 when all is said and done, and he is going to just TP directly into the top side. He does have to be careful, though, because he may be setting himself up for a little bit of a dive, and the answer to that will be no, as they're just going to go help. Oh, no, Gorilla's not fully recalling.
So, we see the Tristana in a lane swap situation, the Rumble coming down.
All right, so notice what KOO did right there. They actually saw the ward go down into the river, it looked like, into the brush, because they pinged it immediately, and that prompted the instant teleport, since they knew that at least someone else was on the top side of the map.
Okay. Well, now we see Wisdom on standby. He will be spotted by the ward, but he does have position behind Kuve and Wraith.
Not going to go in, though. Doesn't see what he likes. Just going to take the Scuttle Crab instead.
Crown goes toward his side of the river. He knows Eve is on, he knows Wisdom is on that side. Eve making a deep trek into KOO's jungle.
As is natural. Kuro had a bit of trouble early on in this matchup, even though a lot of the times we see this matchup go in favor of Varus.
Yeah. I mean, generally speaking, when you're playing as Azir, I've played a decent amount of Azir over the past couple of months. You do very, very poorly against pro champions. Just unless you're some god tier dodger, it's very, very difficult because most of the damage tends to stick, and it's hard to return damage in a trade.
Well, basically, if you don't want to take damage, you have to use your Sand Soldier in a way that doesn't trade to set it up so you can dodge it with your E. And it's a lot of mana just to dodge a single skill shot like that. Wisdom actually coming in. Eve is low. Gorilla's also okay.
Oh, William Tell from the Fog of War.
Didn't William Tell not kill people, though? Wasn't that the entire point?
But he still sniped it. He was accurate.
Your analogy sucked tonight, Barry.
I know. You know why? It's because English is my second language. Fury gonna get snarled up a bit. Returns damage to Gorilla. Gorilla taking a decent amount, but will walk away and chug a health potion. Man, I just want to set myself up. William told them, but you just have to go ruin it. Jeez,
I
thanks.
did, because he didn't. That was the whole point, was he wasn't killing people.
Thanks, Minty Crispy.
You're welcome. Actually, Wisdom has to flash as he goes a little bit too deep.
Azir's coming in.
Interesting choice, you know.
Ooh, I think he's dead here.
He actually is going to die.
Oh, you should have just let
takes the kill.
You should have just let the bomb have it.
You know what you don't do? You don't go into the enemy's jungle on your weak side in a lane swap.
Yes, you don't. And when your mid laner had recalled. So double whammy there, Wisdom.
Not sure what he was thinking.
He forgot his name.
Very risky play.
He forgot his name. Well, 1-1. Gold a little bit in favor of the KOO Tigers. But in the mid lane, Crown is up. Oh, well, they're both at the same amount of kills, but Crown is definitely up in CS and taking a lot of poke damage.
Yeah, Crow's going to catch up after this wave, and he has a red buff now thanks to the kill on the jungler, so Crown's going to have to be very cautious in terms of getting into auto range.
Crow trying to freeze.
Varus.
It has been frozen. And yeah, bit of a lull once again. Gorilla in the top side. The roam was matched by Wraith.
Yep.
And they know.
Just a nice little freeze here, and it's just a pile on into the brush in the top side.
And Crown is back.
Oh boy. We watched this mid lane farm for an entire recall and then walk back into lane. They know how to make the fans happy here.
Well, we'll see how good Crown's dodging mechanics are. Maybe he just gets Mundo. Actually, you know what? You know what he does? He gets a Heimerdinger, auto attack them. He tries to dodge those wrenches because you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball, and arrows.
And arrows. Okay, it works that way as well. All right, so blue invade here. 4 members from the Tigers setting this one up. They're just going to take it away. Prey going to get it, of course, on that Corky right at 6. That is an excellent person to have a blue buff on.
And Samsung Galaxy trying to respond with the blue take of their own. Will they get it, though? Rumble moving up from the bottom lane. They're starting to converge.
Yeah, there's no wards there. So that zoning tornado going to do its work, and they hand it off to Crown. Smeb gets his first recall of the game in, so he can start finally buying some items. Cowl was picked up for Kuve. Meantime, Smeb just going to go for the Haunting guy, so pretty standard. He's going to actually TP as the wave hits the tower. Doesn't want to give that up, but that's going to give TP advantage to Samsung right now. I'm not sure if half a wave of minions was really worth that investment. We'll see. They want to make a play onto the Maokai as he's pushed. Can Wisdom get this gank off? It's a good time if they can do it.
He has a ward. He sees Wisdom there. He's starting to back off.
If that had worked, that would have been very nicely played to use the teleport. But because the ward was already in the river, they can't really make much of it at all. So now, KOO, they've got to wait. Now is not a good time for them to obviously fight that dragon without the TP. So they're just going to take the crab and get some items. And remember, they're looking for the Trinity Force. They're looking for some armor penetration and a Manamune onto Kuro before they really want to start picking fights.
Yeah, it looks like Kuro is trying to rush his Brutalizer first. Charging up his arrow from behind.
We'll see what he does. He obviously doesn't have to commit to that right now. He could have just had enough gold for 2 long swords, and then we'll build the Brutalizer later or turn the other one into a Last Whisper. The nice thing is you have a lot of flexibility.
True enough. Well, we see Eve sneaking into the bottom lane.
But it was a
brush.
Brutalizer.
Yep, it was a Brutalizer. You know, the way they wrote Brutalizer in the Korean client, it's they try to get it as close as possible. They call it the Club of Barbarism. Yeah.
The Club of Barbarism. Dang.
Yeah. It's actually very interesting what they call it.
I'm pretty sure Attila the Hun had one of those.
And you brutalized the entire world.
He clubbed the world. The man who clubbed the world.
Yep. And spread his seed to all corners of
That's
the world.
Genghis
as well.
Khan.
Is it? Oh, okay. I suck at history. I'm a science major, guys.
It's okay. You're probably a Genghis Khan descended, Barry. I'm not joking. Like, actually, a surprisingly large number of people in Asia are. And Korea was conquered by the Mongols. So
Yes, they were.
congratulations. You have to go Barry Khan now.
Oh, man. Maybe I'll turn into Benedict Cumberbatch. I'll be a white person in this movie called Star Trek Into Darkness. And I
No,
will see
that's not the good Khan.
And I will see Monte Cristo be extremely frustrated.
We were talking about this earlier, and that's not the Khan we want to remember. We want to remember the original Star Trek Khan.
And there you can see a contest. And
There's no explosive cast for Eve right now. It is down, so Prey going to get some nice... Oh, nice phosphorus bomb. And Fury just got to hop over the wall. He takes some dragon damage.
This is the
KOO still wants to go. KOO doesn't have TP.
This is the most back and forth dragon. Not against the smite.
I don't know why you don't just all in on that with the TP. Kuve was in base.
Yeah.
I think you just pull the trigger right there and TP. Because look at this. Kuve's in base.
Yeah.
The lane is pushed up, so he's not going to lose any CS. He can just recall and come back to lane and not lose too much.
And they had a ward right outside the Baron pit, too. And the Dragon pit, sorry.
I don't know what's going on with Kuve today. Normally, he's been much better than this.
Yeah.
Every player sometimes has a bad day, though.
Every player has his day. Wow, level 9 to level 7.
He's actually winning that trade, too, for the
And
time
here's
being.
Eve.
But Smeb holds on to his equalizer throughout that exchange.
Eve could have done this. He could have E-flashed and hit him.
Probably.
Yeah, he could have.
And he had the explosive cast. Maybe he was afraid of Smeb flashing out.
Well, if Smeb put down the equalizer, they would have taken so much damage with that the follow-up roam would have probably killed them. That could be the reasoning, but I feel like they could have done that one. Take some risks, Samsung. Roll the dice.
Roll the dice. And that is Barry's advice for you, Samsung Galaxy. So now some more deep warding into the enemy jungle. Gorilla on a mission. He's going to find Eve. Oops.
That's what happens when you use smart cast, guys. You don't know the width of your hitboxes or the width of your skill shot radiuses.
That's true. Well, the width of your skill shots. I think we can just stop it at that.
Okay. I'm telling you, English is my second language.
You can only use that excuse so many times.
I'll use it as much as I want, Monte Cristo. Well, you're already pushing up. He is going for a Bloodthirster, interestingly enough. Or maybe he just wanted that Vampiric Scepter for the lane presence.
Well, the Bloodthirster would make his fast push extremely dangerous if he wants to go for that.
But if you wanted to go fast push, wouldn't it be better to go the BF Sword into a static Shiv, though?
Yeah, quite possibly, depending on whether or not you think that someone else is going to be around during the fast push.
Right.
Yes, definitely static Shiv first Tristana is the old fast push build. But of course you can't just go that because you need to have some sort of form of trading in lane to not get rocked.
Well, that's why you have the BF Sword for, right?
Yes.
So.
I agree with you that the sustain is there, and it does make sense, especially since Prey has all these...
Oh, dear.
Okay. Alrighty.
Yordle down.
Basically, Fury just got walked up on by Gorilla. Gorilla, all he did was press R, and then Fury died.
Yordle on Yordle violence. It is a tragedy.
That's what happened to all the other Yordles. There aren't very many anymore. The Yordle Civil War was absolutely brutal, guys. You should have seen the blood-stained battlefields.
Oh man, all full of chipmunk blood.
Yes.
Good riddance, I say.
And that's why Corky's the only hairless Yordle left. Male Yordle.
I see. Not because he hasn't been visually updated yet.
No, it's because all of the other hairless male Yordles were killed in the Yordle Civil War.
How sad.
I like our rewriting of League of Legends lore today.
Like Summoner's Rift is actually Valhalla. That's actually my favorite, I think. That's probably that makes the most sense.
It actually does make the most sense.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. And there's nothing you can even say to make it make sense.
I mean, you could still have summoners technically as like, you know, some sort of like demigods that are like, you know, resolving each other's issues through these like tests of skill by like puppeteering all of these past champions, right? Champions of like, you know, Runeterra's past. So you can even keep summoners in.
Maybe. So it's actually just a game using the identities of the dead as a game for the gods. That sounds like pretty messed up, I'll be honest.
Yeah, but
Sounds
it makes
like
more
it's
sense
a
than what
pretty
Riot
dark-
Games. It
dark
makes more
afterlife.
sense. It makes more sense than what Riot Games
Well,
has currently done.
but that's the problem with the lore, right? Is there's almost no way to make this game make sense from a story standpoint.
Well, the lore rewrite, the update to the lore is coming this month, or next month rather, is from what I've seen. So we'll see.
I've heard that so many times.
Soon, trademark.
Okay.
The Korean caster's having a giggle to the side.
Well, that's all you can do at this point in the game. Well, KOO just starts to put on the pressure. Now they're going to start just mercilessly beating down these turrets.
Yeah, and we see Corky with his Trinity Force. Meanwhile, yeah, I guess the Avarice Blade was built on Tristana, and they're going to get this mid tower, I think.
It's going to be really close. But they're not going to quite get it down. Not this wave, as Crown makes his return into the mid lane. But Prey is nearly knocked down this bottom turret, and top turret's in a bit of trouble too. Now, are they just going to dive? Nice hook right in the middle of the rocket jump.
Goodbye.
Oh no, Fury
He
actually lived.
Watch Prey just like, yeah, flash. He totally could have flash autoed.
And Wisdom coming for the finisher. There's the flash. Yeah, hook follow up. Prey gets the last auto. And that was the patient way to do it, Barry.
Yeah.
You just take down the tower and then you kill them.
But you look so much cooler when you flash and get that sweet, sweet auto. Well, Kuro taking some damage.
But you see, this way Prey still has his flash, so you can do that later when it's actually necessary.
True enough.
So instant onto the dragon from the KOO Tigers.
So we see Fury with 3 components for 3 different items, or maybe 2 different items. He's going for the Infinity Edge, looks like.
Eventually, after he gets his Avarice Blade. So yeah, that Vamp Scepter was just purely to try and survive the poke of Prey.
So looks like Samsung is at this point has pretty much said we're gonna go wait for the late game, ride out KOO Tigers' power spike, and maybe try to bring it back in the late game.
The problem with that, Barry, is that we're 18 minutes into this game, and KOO has already gotten 2 dragons. So
they'll at least have to fight 1 or 2 of them.
I mean, looking at, they're basically going to have 4 dragons by 30 minutes if they get the next 2. Under 30 minutes, and that is really the sweet spot for KOO's composition. So their dragon stacking is going to be pretty easy now, with not a lot of time for Samsung to contest it. So the early dragons are going to be a massive factor for KOO in this game.
And another blue steal.
Yep, they've been controlling that blue buff the entire game. And they have this Rumble on the top side. They know the Rumble can walk in.
That's an ultimate. Oh!
Chain of Corruption misses. KOO has to flash over the
got
wall,
it.
and that's going to be the kill secured. Fury's in the middle of it. Can they get more? Wisdom
jump over
is
again.
going to fall. Also, Smeb is
Resets.
here. There is an equalizer, but he may just have to use it to clear the wave. That's what he's going to do.
Ooh, Crown taking a lot of damage. Crown almost falls. Crown will fall.
And can he get more? There's a lot more. Prey gets hit by the Twisted Advance. He's getting very low.
Explosive charge
he
on his
is
head.
going to die in the middle of his Valve.
Here comes Fury back in the fray.
And they take him out
Oh
to
my.
Eve. Gets a little bit of
There's
health
another
back. That's
one.
going to be an ace
Well
for
played.
Samsung. Very well played, convincing victory as they roll into the enemy team. And honestly, KOO just sort of filtering in one by one.
Yeah, I loved Fury's positioning throughout that fight. He had the aggressive jumps. He knew when to jump back out, get the assist, come back in. Because he put the explosive charge on and jumped out to safety. And he knew that guy, knew Prey was going to go down.
Well, and you just can't do that at this point in the game. I mean, if you're KOO, you have to win that team fight. You just gave Samsung their ticket back into this one. So as we see right there, Kuro walks in. He thinks he has the backup. TP actually starts first for this Rumble, but Kuro dies so quickly, and Fury just in the mix, able to pick up the kill, and now they start to turn it around. And Smeb goes back in. Now Prey, he thinks he has an angle here. The Crown gets a nice bend to force Prey to flash. Then they want to get more and more, but Prey just horrible positioning. Walks up when there's a twisted advance.
See that jumps out, jumps back in, and gets the kill on Smeb. Jumps in again. Well played.
Yeah, Fury is a very good AD carry. You give him these opportunities to clean up the fights, and he's going to do a lot of work. He has 100% kill contribution for his team in this game. Problem is, it's still a 2,000 gold lead, and
Yes,
the
it is.
farm is still enormously in favor of KOO in the side lanes. 193 to 143, basically 50 CS advantages at top and bottom, and now they're going to turn on to Kube, cook the tree, turn him into firewood, and Kube's going to fall. Is he?
Oh my.
Oh,
He
Prey's
goes
here.
back. Goodbye.
So Prey wrapping around the turret, does find the kill in the end. They will trade tower for tower, but kill advantage. But Fury's getting very strong. He's starting to be able to fast push these turrets, and we've seen how quickly you can end a game with Tristana.
Yeah, he has his Infinity Edge. He's working towards his most likely a static shiv at this point. And the split push will be very, very real from Tristana, who can just melt towers like butter, essentially, with her explosive charge.
Yeah, so all eyes now on the Dragon. KOO needs these if they're going to win. If Samsung can even get one Dragon, they could find themselves in a very good place.
Indeed. Well, we see Crown looking for that Zhonya's Hourglass, and he does make the purchase. Kuro goes back, last Whisper.
Yeah, so he's about as powerful as he's going to get. He should have Muramana done by the time the Dragon spawns. It should be very, very close.
And look at Smeb, maximum magic penetration. The only way he would get more is if he had an Abyssal Scepter right now.
Yeah, interesting pickup, but there is a little bit of MR on the side of, especially Kuve. A little bit interesting that he go for the Void Staff this early into the game.
Maybe he wants to just put down his Equalizer and get as much damage down on Fury as possible so he can't freely jump through the fights with his reset. That could be the idea, try to dump as much backline damage down as possible.
But flat AP is
dear.
actually more efficient in that case, considering that Fury doesn't have any MR.
True.
So.
And Crown, extremely chunked out. Eve is
Oh,
hooked.
jeez. Great equalizer. The chain of corruption starts spreading from player to player.
Oh.
Wisdom still tanking the turret. Crown just going to
Wisdom.
Zonia's. Wisdom's going to die.
goes
Nice
down.
flash from Fury. Flashes over the wall. Now the reset's starting. Can Fury get some work done? He's
Oh,
low.
dear.
Answer is no. Prey takes him out as he gets back under the turret. Fury with some nice mechanics. Kuve just not there. Had no TP. So they're going to
Yeah.
lose an inhibitor, actually.
Kuve with the questionable decision making this game. I feel like he would have been better served. Like, yes, he got that tower, but he's giving up an inhibitor and an inhibitor turret for that. He should have just recalled and booked it straight back to the mid lane.
Yeah, I think that they didn't know that the dive was coming in. He didn't really have a lot of time to do that. But yes, that is a very punishing play from KOO, and it happened right before the Dragon. Kuve has TP up now, but KOO doesn't exactly need that Dragon anymore, considering they've already cracked the base.
True. I feel like as soon as Eve went down, Samsung should have said, Kuve, just come mid. Because even if they lose that, second tier turret at mid lane, then they could have at least held the inhibitor, I feel.
Okay, 2 wards down.
Only gets
For the KOO Tigers, Wraith only going to find one with his lens.
Or will he? The Oracle buff is still there. He doesn't see it. That is odd.
It wasn't quite in range. It's a very creative ward placement if they're just going to be sweeping out or putting a pink ward at the mouth of the pit. May not be able to see that. And so, KOO gets the vision they require just to go for the dragon.
And they give up the third dragon. They do not want to fight this one at this juncture.
Well,
And-
you can.
Yeah, and Fury picks up a big wave in the top lane. He now has a static shiv along with the Infinity Edge.
Ooh, still going to have a hard time doing work though, considering how far behind his team is. And with all the Tigers' wards into the bottom jungle, Samsung really can't defend this turret. They already have priority around the back. KOO looking for those snipes.
So, ooh, a little bit of damage. The tower shield helping a little bit. KOO misses that piercing arrow, but almost half that turret's health right there.
Yep, they certainly are able to get this work done. They've got everything they need, even a Ghost Blade now for KOO. This is about as strong as this composition gets right here. And the fact that they've already taken out that mid lane means that it requires 5 people to defend it. This is really a terrible situation for Samsung.
Well, if Samsung can ride out the next 10 to 15 minutes with minimal losses, they might be able to get back into this game, but I don't think so with that Elixir Sorcery on that Corki as well.
No, you cannot survive this poke, and you can't defend the turret with 4 people right now because KOO is just too strong. They can dive you straight up.
KOO takes the second tier bottom turret, and they look to move on to the inhibitor turret as well.
They can just keep going here. There's no reason to stop at this point in time. Force Samsung to fight as best as you're able.
The best thing they could do right now is to get maybe a miracle play by Crown to shove everybody back into their base and fight under their turret before they take poke. But they're not pulling the trigger. And Cuvée looking for a teleport flank.
So they're going to have to pull up into the top side jungle. They catch Prey immediately. Prey is just going to die. Equalizer is there, however, but that means Fury going to go down as well. Cuvée finds the flank, but KOO still has some damage. So they trade 1 for 1. Oh, they're going to keep going. Wisdom's still relatively high HP, but KOO has no mana to really continue this fight. Going to give a piercing arrow, and there's the glory. And unfortunately for KOO, he can't quite get enough damage onto Eve. Is that going to cost a Nexus turret, though, is my question.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it looks like not. Just only 1 super minion there. Decisive move from Samsung. That time, Cuvée finding a good teleport target.
Well done, but the top lane turret does take a decent amount of damage. And now, I think Samsung Galaxy has to look towards warding up Baron right now.
Yeah, they have TP up, so not going to be too big of a deal. KOO grabs the blue buff before heading back.
Rek'Sai, the farm alarm goes off. Goes back. Well, we're probably going to go into a little bit of a line of scrimmage situation here, I think.
Yeah, Smeb, look at this. He's actually going for a Rylai's this game just to be that peeling force. Really needs his Zhonya's, though, so he can actually stick in the front line without dying very quickly.
Yeah, that Void Staff put him in a bit of into a bit of a hole in terms of itemization.
I really just don't even think it was necessary.
Maybe he just wanted it for the 1v1 versus the Maokai. It seems like he's been itemizing for the 1v1 more so than usual this series.
Yeah. Well, the Rylai's comes in later, so that is definitely not for the 1v1. This time, they're still pushing in the bottom, and there is no ultimate for this Maokai to use. As a result, Samsung starting to push forward as a 5-man unit.
Cuvée, no flash, so no flash twitch to the van shenanigans yet. And they are going to establish position around Baron, clear out wards.
Yeah, they can't really do that very well. They have to be quite concerned with this wave in the bottom side, and you know, now there's an actual chance for a very good Baron bait from the Tigers. They can just take priority in the topside river while the TP is down.
But looks like they want to siege this inhibitor once again. And with Dragon 1:30 away, this might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, they can take it right now. They get the right skill shots to land. That's not going to be one of them, the piercing arrow.
Kube trying to look for a flank right now. And he comes back into the base through the gate. And how, well, Crown did have a Sand Soldier up in that front area. If he can E back to it, nope, it's gone now. I feel like there could have been a playmate there right now. And Eve gets caught.
Eve does get caught, but he manages to body slam out. Gorilla getting very low, but
Gorilla will go down.
taking the brunt of the damage. He's got the tankiness. Now, can they keep poking through? Prey
Ooh.
about half HP. The Sand Soldier line doing immense work. And that kill onto Gorilla. Eve survives because he gets hit by the CC at the end of his retreating body slam.
Great defense, but, oh. Wow, that is a lot of damage from Kuro.
That is, but it's not enough to get a kill or a blue buff. And that delay is going to be quite painful. They lost a huge wave in the top side.
They're
now
going
Samsung
for
going
it.
to try and go for this Baron. Remember, TP is up. Smeb is there. He doesn't have Equalizer.
Ultimates are down for KOO Tigers, but Crown is very low.
They're going to go in. They're going to try and steal it. It's getting low. It's a 50-50. Who's going to get it? It will be Gragas. And that means Wisdom dies. So Samsung turning it around. Prey is back now. Again, still at 50% HP. And KOO got greedy. Instead of recalling, they went for the blue contest instead. But here we go. It's another game. The Dragon is theirs for the taking, and that's going to set up number 5.
Oh,
This looks almost identical to last game.
yeah. Glitch in the Matrix. All right. Well, KOO Tigers get the 4th Dragon. Roughly in about another 6 minutes or so, they will have the chance for their 5th Dragon buff and to be wreathed in flame.
I always like to be wreathed in flame myself.
One would say that you would be quite flaming in that situation.
I would be. Although I don't like to be wreathed in the player flame. He's a little heavy to like put around my shoulders.
And he's gone, I think, a little bit full Michael Jackson these days too.
Yeah, he's doing well though recently.
He's doing very well.
He's doing well though recently.
He's been playing for quite a bit for LGD, and here comes the flank.
Are they going to go for it? There we go. Flash.
Ooh.
Prey gets out over the wall. That's going to isolate Kube. Prey flashing backwards. That was a bit of a mess up on the engage as Kube follows far too deep. Eve, the one who pays the price. Piercing arrow going to hit
a lot
Kube.
of damage. One more will kill him.
It's not going to get it though. So here we go. Moving forward.
Oh dear.
Nice.
Nice flash.
Yeah, the flash actually eliminates that. Crown may end up paying for this. It was a good try to turn it around with the Azir ultimate, but that flash coming out of Kuro still up.
Recalling on wards. Ooh, close. But this inhibitor will go down.
Yeah, there's just not going to be enough there to defend it. Question will be, can they turn it around once Eve comes back up? Actually, KOO getting a little scared. Need to just push forward, waiting for Smeb.
Fury at the back, moving forward.
There it goes. Dies in the end.
Oh,
there's
geez.
the flank. Teleport. Kube comes back in with
Throw
the big
down.
play. And now they're going to lose 2 for that TP, maybe 3. And here comes Fury. Is he going to get it raised? Scrap shield. And the harpoon means that no. The Baron empowered Fury will not be able to finish off the kill.
Looking for Rumble. Going Yordle hunting.
Yordles hunting Yordles. It's just like the Yordle Civil Wars, Barry.
I know.
That was a dark time.
That was a dark time. That's where Omega Squad Teemo comes from.
Wow, that is dark.
Yeah, that is dark.
That's right. Omega Squad Teemo from, it's a commemorative skin for the Yordle Civil War. Teemo hunted down all of the hairless male Yordles except for Corky.
Who we couldn't kill because he was pretty much the Red Baron. I guess
he was in a plane the whole time.
Yeah.
He couldn't get up there, really.
Those knives he threw could only go so high. Well,
Guess what's going to happen in 2 minutes, Barry?
I don't know. Does it start with 5th and end in Dragon?
I was going to say Mambo number 5, but Dragon number 5's okay too.
Okay. Well, clearing some pink wards. Establishing vision around their base again. And yeah. They're just waiting it out until the 5th dragon spawns.
Why shouldn't they? That's going to be their ticket to victory, and they have that inhibitor still going to be down. So they just need to keep the control over the mid lane and never give Samsung the opportunity to get into the river.
Samsung is up 500 gold now and up 2 kills. Maybe not, doesn't mean the most, but with the map advantage that the KOO Tigers have, a lot of the gold is still stored in the towers there.
Very unsafely stored in the towers.
Darn Yordles.
I would keep the gold in my Nexus because that's the last place anybody has to find it. You know what happens to the shopkeepers too? When the enemy goes into your base, do they like shake down the shopkeeper at the end of the game?
No, they just kill him. They just kill him and rob him.
Okay, because I mean he is selling weapons to the enemy.
Yeah. Maybe
That's probably, I mean, at the end, because of course the victors get to write history. That is probably a war crime.
Yeah, right there. Right there. Well, I guess, you know, you'd think that would give the shopkeepers an incentive to sell, you know, these items at a discount. Maybe it already is discounted, but, you know, occasionally they should give some freebies if they, you know, really want to ensure their side wins.
Exactly. What I mean, I know you could be greedy as an arms dealer. That's usually why you get into the trade, because you're unethical and you want money.
Yeah.
But when the enemy is charging down your base and all your allies are losing their lives, you'd think you'd say, you know, maybe I don't need gold for this sword right now. Maybe I just need to stay alive.
You know, maybe, now that I think about it, that 475 gold you start with, maybe just like store credit initially.
Store credit right there.
Yeah. It's a voucher for your first item. Something usually made by a man named Doran. Or if you're incapable of pronouncing the R's like I am, Dolan.
You know, Doran really wasn't a great craftsman. I know that they like to present to the lore that he was a great craftsman, but he makes literally the worst items.
Yeah, well, he makes, oh yeah, that's true. Okay, I'm not even going to argue that. Well, Samsung taking a lot of poke. Even Eve is taking meaningful damage.
They're going to try and rush down the mid lane, but there are super minions here. You can't make this play if you're Samsung. You have to fight this.
The dragon is live. They're going for it. This dragon will fall fairly quickly.
Really trying to run interference. Kube gets in there. There's an
big
equalizer. But the dragon's not low. Instead, they just turn on to Kube, take out the Maokai.
Oh, dear.
And there is Eve ping-ponging. No more smite, and that is a dragon take. 5 stacks now as Kuro finishes him off with a flash kill.
Was it a flash kill? I thought it was to the dragon burn.
It was the dragon burn. Oh yeah, you're right, it was.
Yeah.
He flashed right at the same time. So they're still going to try and get more damage on Fury. The Rockets are in Fury's pockets now for sure. Skorky finishes it off. And now the KOO Tigers should march their way to victory. 30 seconds is nothing when it comes to how fast you can kill objectives with 5 stacks. That's the way the KOO Tigers are going to win 2 games in a row.
5 dragons, they needed it.
So KOO is going to keep their win streak alive. This puts it at 7 consecutive best of 3s.
And how many match wins? Set wins, rather.
Yes, they're getting up there. I believe they're at 9 now. So they've been doing well. Or 8. Should be 8.
Well played by the KOO Tigers. But Samsung put up quite the fight.
Yes, they did. Much more than expected, especially since Samsung had a very poor showing against CJ Entus recently. Hard loss for them, but you know they played well at times.
Yes.
Okay, certainly.
Well, tough loss for Samsung. They played well. They tried their best. But Small mistakes cost them the victory
Well,
both times.
You could see that they are developing, though. That's the nice thing about watching Samsung. They are so much better than they were last season.
They definitely are.